that's a big fight that we are doing, and we started that in 2018, first election 2019, the last one in 2021, last September, and we are growing. And I like to say that we are the fastest growing political party in the history of our country. Just look at the Green Party. It took 15 years for the Green Party to have more than 1.6% of the vote, and we did it at our first election. And after that, we tripled our score from 1.6 to 5. And the mainstream political parties didn't want us to debate and be on the stage to be able to debate at the last election. Yeah. So, but I can tell you, they said that for a new party with a new leader, they need to have at least 4% of the vote at the last election to be part of the national debates on TV. And actually, we did it at the last election. So the good news is at the next election, I will be able to be on the stage, and I believe that that will be fun. You'll have a real debate.
That will be fun.
Yay!
Because I believe that people are coming because we are doing politics differently. And it's not a slogan, it's not a buzzword for us. That is the reality. We have a strong platform based on 4 principles, as you know: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness. And we're not doing like the mainstream political parties before every election, doing a survey, polling, focus group to know what they want to say to Canadians. And after that, doing the opposite when they're in government. For us, we believe that we have a strong vision for this country based on our principles, on Western civilization values, on conservative family values. And if you speak about it openly with passion and conviction, we will have more support. And if you look at the past, I think that happened. When we started, for example, to speak about freedom 2 years ago, and when I was doing rallies, and I believe that a lot of you also were here and doing some rallies for our freedoms, we didn't have a lot of people in 2020. In Montreal, my first rally, 100% there. And my last rally in Montreal, 45,000 people marching on the street.
Yeah.
So we are growing, and we are telling the truth based on facts to Canadians. It's not because it's not popular that we won't speak about it. On the opposite, it's something that we believe. We are doing politics based on our conviction, and actually it's not because something is popular that it is just and true. And it's not because you're gonna speak about what you believe openly and that will become popular. And actually right now it's very popular to speak about freedom. As you know, they are in the leadership contest right now, the Conservative, and now they're arguing each other who was there at the convoy and the Freedom Convoy. They were not there. They were not there the last 2 years. They didn't do anything. Polyev and all these candidates. And now because it's more popular, because of our work, because of the truckers, because we were able to change the public opinion, that they are speaking about freedom. We cannot trust that, and we cannot trust them. They're an establishment political parties that they're doing politics only to be in government. And for them, I know that I must admit that Polyev is a good communicator, a good debater, but what I must say also is the Conservative and the establishment of the Conservative Party of Canada is intellectually and morally corrupt. Why? Because their only goal is to be in government, and they don't have any conviction. Actually, they're giving more credibility to the leftist narrative because they have the name Conservative, but they're speaking like liberals and NDPs, and they have the same policies. So they're only conservative in name. What I can tell you, I'm pretty sure in the next couple of months after that leadership you're gonna see again the real Conservative Party of Canada that is not conservative. Because their goal is to be in power, and the only way to be in power is to have more seats in big cities, in Toronto and Vancouver. And as you may know, in the GTA in Toronto, there's more seats over there than in all the province of Alberta. So if they want to be in government, they will have to please these people. They will have to please people living in Vancouver, in BC. So that's why they're pandering. They're doing identity politics, not based on any conviction. They will go to the left like O'Toole did, like Scheer did at that time. So for us, the only way to be successful is always to be honest and open with our values. We had 840,000 people that voted for us at the last election. So if each one of them find 10 new people, 10 new persons that can support us, and they have 3 years to do that, we'll be at 8 million votes and we'll have 20%. So that's our way that we can grow our party. I cannot count on the mainstream media. They don't want to give us any visibility because they know that if they're doing that, we're gonna grow faster. Because common sense is popular when you speak about common sense. And that's why today, you know, you have the wokeism everywhere, socialism everywhere, and we need to change that. You know, when they are teaching at school that maybe a little boy is not a little boy, you know, that's not based on science. That's woke and wokeism. And I was the first one to speak against that. And you know, our values, our family values are important. And now today we have a big crisis, not only economic. On the economy, the inflation is there and we are all poor because of that. We know it, 6.7% inflation, but also a moral crisis, an identity crisis in our country. And we must always stand up and speak out for our values. That's why I count on you. That's why I'm doing that tour in Atlantic Canada. And with our team, Adrienne over there is our coordinator, national coordinator, is helping us to build the riding associations all across the country. And I can tell you that the next election, we will have a full slate of candidates here in Nova Scotia and in Atlantic Canada. Because, yes, thank you. No matter what, because we want to give the opportunity to every Canadian to be able to vote for their value, and that's important. So what will be our score at the next election? I don't know, but I can tell you that we will grow. And I have a question. People are asking me that question when I'm doing that tour. Okay, Maxime, we believe that the party will grow. You did well, triple your score from the first election to the second. Maybe you can do that from 5 to 10 or 15, I don't know. But also, it's important for us to have a freedom voice in Ottawa to start that debate, because at that time the mainstream media won't be able to ignore us anymore. We're going to be in the House, we're going to have that debate, that common sense debate every day in parliamentary committee. So for me, I don't know where I will run at the next election. It can be in Quebec, it can be outside Quebec, but I tell you, my goal is to be elected. If I have to move to another riding with my wife, I will do that, and we'll work hard to have that voice. And I strongly believe that I won't be alone at the next election. We'll have a couple of candidates that will be elected, and we will start that common sense revolution, that ideological revolution, and we will bring back our country like we know, the country that we love. And thank you. So we have a couple of challenges, and we need to be out there and speak about it. There's the challenges of immigration. We have mass immigration right now in our country, and we need to have sustainable immigration. We're not against immigrants. You know, we are welcoming immigrants, but we want to have more skilled immigrants that will come here. And that's not the case right now. And actually, I did an interview this morning on the radio station. I don't remember which one.
Todd Pino.
Yeah, this morning at 10 o'clock. And he asked me, Maxime, oh, you have a position on immigration, and some people are saying that, you know, because of your position, you have a different position, and they called you a racist. And what do you have to say about that? I said, yes, you know, in the election in 2019, we were speaking about a reform in our immigration system to be more sustainable, to have more skilled immigrants, and helping the real refugees that are waiting somewhere where their life is in danger, not the fake ones that are crossing the border illegally in my own province in Quebec at the Roxham Road.
Economic migrants.
Yeah. So, and I said, you know, people, the mainstream media didn't want to cover us, didn't want to have a discussion about that. But I'm telling you right now, yesterday in Quebec, the Premier of Quebec said and wrote a letter to Justin Trudeau and said to Justin Trudeau that he must stop that illegal immigration that is happening in Quebec. After 3 years now, you have a premier that is saying enough is enough. Like I said, you know, we don't want to build a wall, but maybe a little fence there that will stop everybody, and they will have to enter in our country at the real official point of entry. And they're not doing that right now because they will say, oh, I'm a refugee. But the answer would be, no, you're not. You're coming from a safe country that is the US. But when they're crossing illegally the border at a non-official point of entry, they can claim to be a refugee, and we are accepting that. That's wrong, that's unfair, and these people are jumping the queue and not helping the real refugees that we want to help as the generous Canadians. So now that discussion on immigration, it is starting, but the Conservatives and the Liberals won't speak about that. They all agree with mass immigration, and they all agree that, you know, we need to have always more and more people and more diversity. This country is a diverse country. We like it with, you know, we're not a post-national state like Justin Trudeau said, with no core identity. Yeah. I'm proud to be Canadians, and there may be a couple of different cultures in our country. The culture here is very different than the culture in Quebec. The culture in Calgary is very different than the one in Toronto. So that's our country. We have different cultures. We are together. It's unity. We must promote that. We must promote what unites us, not promote always more diversity and diversity. You know, when you decide to come to Canada, it's a big decision. You are lefting behind some of your friends and family, and you are coming here to start a new life. That's okay, but we must not always promote your culture from your country, and we must promote what will unite everybody. Like I did at the last election. You know, Trudeau was arguing for more segregation with the vaccine passport, more discrimination, and he told us, you know, there's two kinds of Canadian, the good one and the bad one. And I was supposed to be a bad Canadian because I decided not to have the 2 shots. But I said, enough is enough of all that. Enough is enough of all that. We must unite all Canadians under the freedom umbrella. That's our goal. And I believe that it will happen, because more and more people are looking at the facts right now, and they know that COVID-19 was not so dangerous for younger people without comorbidities. And what we did, we destroyed our economy, destroyed some family, and also some Canadians right now are not able to work because they didn't have the 2 shots. So I'm doing that battle. I'm doing that battle also. We said that everybody must be able to work, and they must be compensated for the loss of money that the government, because they were not allowed to work. that was unfair, unconstitutional, unethical. And on that, I must tell you that the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, that's an organization that is not receiving any money from the government, and they are doing that fight in the court. There's a good news and a bad news. The bad news is they lost almost all their cases the last 2 years. But the good news is they are appealing these cases and they are ready to go up to the Supreme Court. And I can tell you, I believe that they will be able to win. And I'm doing the same thing with them also. Me and Brian Petford are suing the federal government.
Yeah, do it, man! Do it! We're with you. We want to see success on that.
Yeah, and we'll be in the court the 19th of September for 4 days, and we may have a decision in December. And that's important.
Hold them accountable.
Yeah, they must be accountable, but also because Trudeau in his last budget, he gave $37 million to Transport Canada for them to be sure that they will keep that segregation for the next 3 years. And
Unbelievable.
We are the only country on this planet that has that kind of restriction and segregation for their own citizens that decided not to have the 2 shots. We cannot travel freely in our country. So I believe that we will win that case. Maybe we'll have a good decision in December. If not, we'll appeal that, and that will be the end of that discrimination that we still have in our country. So there's like there's 2 battles. The one in the court that the Justice Center is doing and I'm doing with them, but the other one is the battle to change the public opinion, because we know that these establishment politicians are doing politics not on any conviction or principles. They are doing politics based on survey and polling and focus group. So if we show them that we're not a tiny minority or French minority with unacceptable views.
Unacceptable opinions.
Yeah, like Trudeau said, I believe that our views are acceptable and we must be able to express what we believe. But we need to show them that we are growing, and that happened because I believe that in the beginning of the pandemic we were only maybe 5 to 10% of the population that were ready to fight for our freedoms. And now after 2 years, we may be 20% of the population. That's why the politicians are looking at the survey and polls and they see a trend. And when it's moving and growing, these politicians, they want to stay in power. And so they're afraid of that. That's why we have almost all the mandates at the provincial level that are not in force anymore. And we need to do that battle again to increase our number of supporters. And that will happen. That will happen because of COVID, because of we know and we have a solution and we are telling the truth. And what I'm telling you, it's what I said 3 years ago at our first campaign. And our platform will always be the same. Our electoral platform will always be the same. We won't change until we win that battle of ideas and until we regain our country.
Right.
Yay.
So now I count on you. I cannot do that alone. I need you. I want you to be part of the change, to be the change, to help us to regain our country, to do that freedom revolution. And that's why, if you know some of your friends and family that are not here today, they don't know maybe about the PPC, they don't know our platform, I just want to ask you, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to speak and to tell them that we exist, that we have a platform, that we're doing politics differently, and they can trust us. So like that we will grow, and I strongly believe here in Atlantic Canada that we will have, when the time will come of an election, you will have somebody that will be able to represent your freedom voice in Parliament, And that will be great because that will be the beginning.
That would be good.
That will be the beginning of a new country, the country that we wanted, that we don't have anymore. And I'm looking for the future. I'm looking ahead, and I'm very encouraged with what I'm seeing. You know, immigration, we have a solution. The inflation, we have the solution. No more money printed by the Bank of Canada. We need to keep our purchasing power, and we have a solution for that. You know, zero inflation target, because we know that inflation is a hidden tax. Instead of taxing you, the federal government is saying keep your money in your pockets, but you won't be able to buy the same amount of goods and services with your money. Your standard of living is going down, your purchasing power is going down. That's a tax, that's the inflation tax. The way to solve that, we have to say to the Bank of Canada, stop printing money out of thin air, and instead of having a 2% inflation target, we must have 0% inflation target. Like that, everybody will keep their purchasing power. We won't have any inflation anymore. So we have the real solution for the challenges of our country on different subjects. So if you want to know more about us, don't hesitate, read our platform on our website. And if you have some ideas also, we have Michelle, you have your candidate, you can be in touch with them, you can speak with them, you can tell them, you know, what you want to be in our platform. We will update our platform before the next election, but it's always the same core principles, and the policies in the past that we wrote are good today also. At the last campaign, I spoke more about freedom. At the first campaign, it was more about immigration. I don't know what will be the main topics of the next campaign, but it will be part of our platform, and we'll try to focus on 4 or 5 policies, because during a campaign, you cannot speak about everything. You have to be focused, and that will be the same thing in your riding. Your candidate will speak about 4 or 5 policies during the campaign. But also, that's why when we are not in a campaign, we can explain to your friends, you can explain to your family the full platform of our party. We have a comprehensive platform. We are ready, and that's why this Common Sense Revolution started 3 years ago, and we'll see the result of that at the next general election. I want to thank you very much for your time, and if you need something, don't hesitate. Adrian is there. Do you want to say more, Adrian, about the organization?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Adrian, yeah, thank you. Hey, keep it very, very quick.